Hi everyone, my name is Chaitni and I am a mindset and nutrition coach. So I help clients cope with stress, depression, or anxiety by developing healthy habits, making lifestyle changes, and incorporating proper nutrition. So every week I drop a video that's associated with some topic related to wellness. So if wellness interests you or intrigues you, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you're more of a reader, you can also sign up for my bi-weekly blog that deals more with self-love and self-care reminders. So the link for that is in the description. And lastly, you can follow me on Instagram at Imperfect Bodies by C Modi. So this week's topic has to do with stress, but specifically how you can release stress physically. So when stress happens, it affects every fiber of your being. It affects you mentally, it affects you emotionally, and it also affects you physically. So, those aches and pains that you have, when you wake up with a stiff neck, or you've pulled a muscle while sleeping, or you have a tension headache, whatever it is, stress will manifest itself physically, and it will hamper your physical well-being. So it's important, not just to deal with it mentally and emotionally, but you can also deal with it physically. In fact, for some of us, it's a lot easier to deal with it on a physical level than it is to confront it mentally or emotionally. So think of, this step as the first step in relieving your stress when you start to release it from your system physically. And then it might put you in a better position to tackle some of those hard questions, come up with those solutions, or just be in a better frame of mind to deal with that stress mentally and emotionally. So I'll be sharing 5 tips that can help you release that stress physically. So don't worry, it's not about exercising and hitting the gym, which is great. If you want to do that, please do. But the 5 tips that I share are more fun. They're a little bit out of the box, and hopefully at least one of them will resonate with you, if not all of them. So tip number 1 is breath work. The nice thing about breath work is, of course, it's very healing, it's very calming and soothing, but it's something that is convenient to do anywhere. Whether you're at work and need to take a quick 5-minute break, or, whether it's right before bedtime or right when you wake up, it's so easy and so convenient to do it from anywhere in your world. And all you need are 5 minutes. When I say breath work, people automatically associate it with meditation. Don't keep breath work separate. And like I said, all you need are 5 minutes. If you can dedicate 5 minutes to breath work, to a consistent practice every day of the week, in just 2 or 3 weeks, you will see a difference. With breath work, what happens is it stimulates or it activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That is your rest and digest system. That's the one that calms your body down. That's the one that tells you we're safe, everything is okay, everything is manageable. So what happens is when you're in the opposite frame of it, when you're in the fight or flight mode, or the sympathetic nervous system, you're in this go, go, go situation, and that stress accumulates. You're putting a lot of undue stress on your body when you're in fight or flight mode, more often than not. So what breath work does is it gets you out of fight or flight and puts you more in a rest or digest state. And that can help you with your sleep schedule. It can help you with your eating habits. It can help you with your moods, with everything. So breathwork has really a ripple effect to every aspect of your life. There are 3 breathwork practices that are my favorite, but go with whatever you know of, or do your own research, or if somebody suggested something that works really well, you can try that as well. When you're doing breath work, just a word of caution, be careful, pay attention to your bodily sensations. It's normal to feel a little bit of tingling. It's normal to start yawning. It's normal to have some of those sensations, but if you start to feel really out of breath, or you feel like this is not for you, then please stop, don't take any risks. But the ones that I'm suggesting are very simple. One of them is the 4-7-8 breathing technique. So you inhale for a count of 4, you hold your breath for a count of 7, and then you exhale for a count of 8. Similar to this is the box breathing technique, or it's really a count of 4. So you inhale for a count of 4, you hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and hold that breath for a count of 4. So again, you can do these, 4 or 5 times. It's going to take you even less than 5 minutes. You can do it multiple times a day if you like. And then the last one is the alternate nostril breathing. You do this in yoga quite a bit. So you breathe in, you inhale from your left nostril, you exhale out of your left nostril, your right, you inhale out of your right, exhale out of your left. So you can do a few rounds of that, maybe 8 rounds of that, one side each. So that's going to be 16 times total. But that can be very, very soothing, because what's happening in there is you're balancing both sides of you, your left and your right, and it'll put you in a state of calm. It'll also put you in a state of control. So the number one tip is breath work. Either do one of my suggestions or find one that works for you. Okay, then tip number 2 is stretching. So stretching is just magical. A lot of us, if we work out or when we work out, we really don't take the time out to stretch. But you don't need to work out to incorporate stretching into your routine. In fact, it should really just be a part of your routine no matter what, if you are mobile or active in any shape or form. Even if you're sitting at your desk for 8 or to 10 hours a day, stretching is imperative. But the beauty of stretching is it will really help with where the stress is stored. So in general, our emotions, our trauma, our stress is really stored in our hips. I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but tight hips really indicate, a lot of those emotions. Plus, tight hips can lead to injury, it can lead to any other kind of pain. It's just uncomfortable. So if you start to stretch, it will add to your mobility, it will add to your flexibility, and of course it will help you with pain reduction. So some of the specific stretches that you can do with your hip tension, one of them is the butterfly, and the other one is frog, which is a little bit more intense when it comes to releasing tight hips. Or outside of this, you can do whatever floats your boat. With stretching, it can be a runner's stretch, which is great because that not just loosens those hips, but it also helps you stretch out those hamstrings, stretch out those calves. But there are a lot of different body parts that you could work on. You can try and stretch your neck, your shoulders. That's always nice, with that shoulder mobility that you need, when you're reaching for something or you're grabbing something heavy. Stretching out your back, your lower back, your upper back, stretching out your glutes, your legs, your feet. We actually have no idea, how much pressure we put on our calves and our feet when we do any sort of walking. So that's also a really nice way of releasing not just some of that tightness and that discomfort, but also any stress that you may be holding in your body. So tip number 2 is stretching. Again, all you need are 5 minutes. You can easily do 3 to 4 moves or even more depending on how long you're holding the stretches in those 5 minutes. So maybe this could be a part of your bedtime routine. Maybe it could be a part of your morning ritual, or evening break between work and then flowing into your evening. So lots of options. Start small, start with those baby steps. So 5 minutes and that's it. Even if you do it 3 or 4 times a day, you'll get hooked, and watch yourself do it every single day of the week. And then tip number 3 is along the same lines. It's yoga. I knew I was going to say this. So, a lot of times I've also heard, and I was guilty of this, with yoga, it felt very slow to me. And I always thought, there's no way I can balance that way. There's no way I can slow down my movements or my breathing or any of that. I was more of a HIIT cardio kind of girl. I still am. But in the last couple of years, I've dedicated at least 30 minutes of yoga a week. That's a pact that I made with myself. So when I say yoga, don't worry, it's not something you need to do for 60 minutes every single day. If that's not your jam, that's okay. Again, you start small and you work your way up. So maybe it's just 30 minutes once a week, or maybe it's 15 minutes a day. And you can start with the most basic movements of yoga. You don't need to complicate it. You don't need to make it overly stressful, you're already stressed out, your body already needs a break, you don't need to make it worse or add more pressure. So just start with 30 minutes a week and see what it does for you. The beauty of yoga is it's that perfect combination and that perfect dance between movement and breath work. So as you do the movements, you should be incorporating your breathing, your inhale and your exhale, and that is in tandem with each other. So when you have that synchronicity between your breath as well as your movements, that's when the wonders happen, that's when the miracles happen. So that's one of the reasons why I'm suggesting yoga, kill two birds with one stone. But try that, again, only 30 minutes a week or whatever floats for you. You can do 10 minutes a day if that's more your thing. But what you'll notice is at the end of your practice, you are able to leave that stress on the mat. Even if it's just for the next hour or next 2 hours, you're giving your body a break. Your body is going to feel lighter. You're mentally going to feel clearer in your head. And you will experience some semblance of positivity. You're going to have some of those positive thoughts. So overall, it's a great way to try to start to figure out how to cope with that stress, how to deal with that stress in a healthy way, and to start to get out of that zone physically and mentally. And then tip number 4, this one's my favorite and super fun, is dancing. So there is actually, dance movement therapy where you have certified therapists who help you heal through dance and through movement. Typically, this is for folks experiencing PTSD, but anyone with depression, autism, so many different, it's a gamut of, issues that you might have that you can work with the therapist, with the dance movement therapist, and try to heal them. Now, I know a dance movement therapist is not accessible to everybody and they're not available everywhere. And that's okay, but they have videos online that you can check out. There's actually one movement that I really thought was neat is mirroring, and you can do this with a friend or with a group of people that you trust. Make sure that the group that you have or the person you have around you is someone you trust, someone who is compassionate, and someone who is non-judgmental. But you could try a technique called mirroring, where your friend spontaneously does a movement and then you imitate that movement, and you guys kind of go back and forth. And the purpose of this is the other person, or you telling the other person, I see you, I see your pain, and I'm here for you. And a lot of times, when you're feeling stressed or when you're feeling burdened, that's really what you need, because it's very easy to feel like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders. But you don't need to do this on your own. It's okay to reach out and get that support. This is just a very creative and unique way of getting that support. So mirroring is definitely one of the ways that you can do it. There's also something called body music practice. This was developed by a gentleman named Keith Terry. Feel free to look him up. And he has a set of movements that he has you do. You can change the rhythm, you can change the beats to which you do these movements. You can do it sitting down or standing up. Very simple. Basically, you start with clapping your hands, and don't go too hard. You don't need to be palm to palm. You can actually cup your hands if you'd like, but this is step 1. Step 2 is, you hit your palm to your left chest, and then you take your left palm and hit it to your right chest, and then you take your right palm and touch the top of your right thigh, take your left palm and touch the top of your left thigh. And you kind of do this on repeat, but there can be a rhythm to it. Like I said, you change it up, you change the beats. You're your own master in this. You do it a few times. You start with the clap, a thud, a tap, clap, thud, thud, tap, tap. So sorry, my video is shaking as I do this, but this is a practice that you could do, again, anywhere, even if you're stuck in traffic and you're in the car and you're really stressing about a meeting that's coming up, you can do it. And like I said, change the beat, change the rhythm, and it's pretty easy to do. If you want to see more of the videos or learn more about it, you can look up Keith Terry. And the last thing with dancing, this is something that I have personally tried, and it was extremely healing. It was really just something out of the world for me, is dance with your eyes closed. So turn on whatever music that you're in the mood for. If you want to listen to really, metal band, you want to listen to hard rock, or you want to listen to something really classical, whatever you're in the mood for, play that on. Just close your eyes and dance to however you wish to dance, to whatever the moves that need to be. Again, you can do this on your own, or if there is somebody or some persons that you trust, you can do it as a group. But what it does is when you shut your eyes, you really connect with your subconscious. All that noise, all that stimulation, all of it goes away. It's just you and yourself, and it's on the inside. So it's a great way to reconnect with yourself. Similar to, Keith Terry's dance music practice. What is the whole point of the clapping, right? It's to come back to the present, to be here, to be in the here and now, and again, find a way to connect with who you really are, and realize that the stress is temporary, that whatever is holding you back or whatever is stressing you out, it can be managed, it can be done. You're not alone, you can deal with it. So that's the beauty of dance. There's so many different ways of doing it. There's so many different forms of doing it. It's really about just experimenting and choosing the one that works for you. And then tip number 5 is getting a massage. So if you're comfortable and you feel safe, massage can be very therapeutic. Like I said earlier, we hold our pain, our stress, our trauma, our emotions in our hips. So a massage can also help with that. But you'll notice, you'll have a tight neck or tight shoulders or glutes, wherever else you're holding on to that stress. Having that really safe touch and very intentional touch with the right pressure can be extremely healing. It's another way to release some of that stress. Now, not everybody feels safe with an unknown person giving you a massage. Not everybody feels safe being touched in any manner, and that's okay. If that's more of who you are, then getting a massage from a professional masseuse may not be the best option. But there are other ways that you can help yourself. You can take care of yourself. It could be about taking a hot bath with some aromatherapy. It could also be, rubbing your neck, giving yourself a massage. It could be, going in a hot tub or a jacuzzi where you have that pressure against your back, and that can be very soothing. You can brush your hair. Take your time doing that. Sometimes that can be very healing. You also can try dry brushing, there are special dry brushes that are available, and it can really help with the lymphatic drainage in your body, but you can do that for your entire body. You can, put on a face mask and, take care of yourself that way. So lots of different ways. Ultimately, the goal is, whatever you do, that touch that's there, that connection that's there should feel safe, it should feel therapeutic, it should feel healing. So whether it's your touch or somebody you trust, it doesn't matter, but that's what we're trying to do, is establish that really safe connection and something that sends a message that it's going to be okay, that whatever you're experiencing, whatever stress there is, it's not going to always be there, and there will be a solution to it, and it's just another way, a healthy way to cope with it. So those are the 5 different ways that I shared with you. There's the massage, there's dancing, there's yoga, there's breath work, and there's stretching. So pick one or pick all of them, a different one every week, and see how it feels, and let me know how it makes you feel when it comes to releasing that stress physically. Any kind of stress, you want to take that seriously, because if it continues and turns into chronic stress, it can escalate into some other issues, some more serious issues. It could be mental health issues or chronic diseases. It could turn into diabetes, high blood pressure, weight gain. So everything has a consequence to it. So if you're feeling that stress, even if it's short term, try and take care of it, try and manage it. And remember, there are these ways, these healthy coping mechanisms that can help you start with that first step, which is taking care of your body, of physically trying to eliminate the stress from your body. So as always, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for stopping by. I will catch you here next week. In the meantime, please take very good care of yourself and watch out for that stress. Bye-bye.